Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Oh, it's fucking upside down.
Oh, here we go, folks. We're bellying up to the bar right now. It is Wednesday, November. What day? God, my watch is all wrong. It's like the third. My watch says it's the first. I got to fix that.
It is the 3rd of November.
It is the 3rd of November, and we are bellowing up to the bar today. It is a beautiful day. We're going to talk about one of my favorite kind of things that I enjoy so much. I love comics. Anyone who knows me knows I have a ridiculous comic book habit. I spend way too much money on comics. We may have an extra guest. We'll see if he's able to make it on with me. One of my favorite co-hosts. Oh, I think we're good right now. We weren't sure if Miss Phoebe was going to make it. We're having some technical difficulties here, but I think she made it happen.
I think permissions worked out in my Chrome browser.
Oh, my bad. It happens. So, but we've bellied up to the bar today, and I can't wait to talk about this because one of the things that I enjoy is I spend money on Kickstarters. I don't know about anybody else. I really enjoy them a lot. They're fun. It's one of those things that you can find a lot of amazing people doing amazing things out there. I've bought everything from comic books to I have a little knife me and my wife have on our keychains that look like pills that were machined. I got games coming. Skybound sucks because of everything that's going on right now. I'm waiting on one of my games. So today we have bellowing up to the bar with us, Miss Pheobe Xavier of 123 Go Publications. 13th Moon Volume 1 is already out. Volume 2 is coming. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
And we thank you for coming to the bar with us.
I went out and got earphones today because you recommended that. Should I be putting my earphones in?
Let's see. I'm not getting any feedback right now. How's it sound on your end, just being able to talk to us?
Yeah, no, it sounds fine.
So it sounds good. Then I'm all about it. So as always, let's get a little bit of housekeeping done first. So and maybe Miss Phoebe will send me a sticker to go with our sticker and a cause back here. We have our board for sticker and a cause. Anything you believe in, anything that you're interested in, whether it be you have your own Kickstarter that you're doing or you have an organization you support, whatever it happens to be, contact me. Send me a direct message on our Facebook page, The Above the Bar Podcast, or our Instagram is at The Above the Bar. Twitter is is Above the Bar 4 on Twitter. And then our email is theabovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. You send me a message. Let me know what you got going on. I'll go ahead and put your sticker up there, and we'll make that happen. And if you're concerned about your sticker in your media and you say to yourself, well, my media is just, my media is scary, because after you read 13th Moon, you'll know about scary. But you might say to yourself, well, my media is scary and I need to improve my media. So in that case, you need to go ahead, reach out to one of our good friends, friend of the show, somebody who's taught me how to do some media stuff. I have no media skills. Media by Dibs, your connection for all things media, from logos and marketing campaigns to flyers and more. See, look, Phoebe, I know you're an artist, but you might be able to.
Is that Mr. Dibs from the Rhyme Sayers, or is that a different Dibs?
This is Dibs from the Marine Corps. Dibs. This is Marine Corps Dibs.
Where?
Yeah, he's another Marine, just like me. Just another Marine.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
We love having you. Yep, that is you, Dibs. That is you. He's already watching us right now. But he makes your ideas a reality. Mention the phrase "belly up to the bar" and get a 10% discount and a free consultation. So, housework is done.
Okay. If you guys are Marines, you should go download my book Trouble. Issue number 1 is about a Soul Corps Marine, a Space Marine from like 400 years in the future, and she's kind of a badass. And it's yeah, she has the demeanor of a Marine in that there are no former Marines.
Love it. Now that's so. How many? So I'm curious now. You got me a little curious because I didn't know. You know, you reached out, and I give everybody kind of the backstory. Phoebe reached out to me and was like, "I want to be on your show. Here's my comic. Read it. Don't give it to no one else. Read this." And I'm like, "All right, there, boss. I'll go ahead. Shit, let me read it. Damn, I'll read. I know how to read. You can't hold that against me just because they say us Marine crayons, wherever the hell that comes from. But I'll read it. Shit." So she sent it out to me, and I really enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it. Now, I read on. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Are you in Uruguay?
No, that's just what my Facebook profile says. That's my that's where I'd like to get to. I have like an idea to sail from Florida down through the Caribbean to South America and retire to there and just write from there.
Do you know how to sail?
No, I mean I've lived on boats before, but would not be able to captain my own boat. I would need to hire a captain.
So this definitely sounds like a HBO special about to happen, where like Lost at Sea.
If they would invest that money in me, sure, we could sail tomorrow, but we don't have that lined up yet.
Oh, I was meaning like you got lost at sea and then they had to make a movie about you.
Oh no, we will go all the way. It's island hopping from Florida to South America is not even that difficult.
No,
no, the island it's like archipelago that extends all the way from Florida to South America, basically.
oh nice. See,
Yeah,
my oldest son is the sailor. He was in the Coast Guard.
Cool.
He was a puddle pirate.
Cool.
That's what we call the Coast Guard, puddle pirates. So I know nothing about these things.
My grandfather on my adopted father's side was in the Coast Guard during the Korean War.
Oh, nice. So did he actually? Now, where did the Coast Guard go over to Korea? Like, did he see action
No,
in Korea?
he was completely on stateside, but he was defending America's borders during the Korean War.
Interesting. See, learning keeps happening. All this learning. And if you're out there, look, I know Dibs is watching. Make sure you're sharing this around. Go grab Cheryl's phone right now, Dibs, and tell her to put it on. My wife got to go grab hers. I'm like I say I'm on weekend jail from Facebook right now, Phoebe.
Yeah, Twitmo is what we call it on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that, but like I'm not fully incarcerated. Like they've restricted my going live until like the next couple weeks for the funniest damn post that I've ever seen. And I didn't even do it. That was the best part about it was they were like, "You're banned." I'm like, I don't even know what this post is. I didn't even do it. They're like, and there's no way. And now they have no way to contact anyone.
But wait, did you just like a comment and get banned for that? Or like how did
No, it was well, they won't see this. So it was a picture of the elf on the shelf that was and he looked like he was being hung in jail, but but a claymation version of Hillary Clinton walking past. So it was like a Jeffrey Epstein reference.
Okay.
And I'm like,
do you think that Hillary Clinton has anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein dying in jail?
Yes.
Okay, I think you're crazy then.
Yes.
But,
one conspiracy theory I go with.
I think William Barr absolutely was, as like the person that directly gave permission for guard shifts on that on his prison stay leading up to. I don't necessarily even believe Jeffrey Epstein is dead though. So like I may be
okay. So I'm sane now. I'm gonna go with I'm sane. You get the crazy now. Oh God, where's Anthony when I need him? A good friend, buddy of mine, Anthony. You and him would have a blast right now because he is.
Well, they released a picture of him after supposedly dead, which never happens. Like they either cite me any other incident of like a celebrity being dead where they have to show you like his dead body on a fucking taken away or whatever, being zipped up in the bag. We don't usually require that much verification. So yeah,
Well, that was for the hit. That was for the
people,
hit itself.
And people that brought up to also that there are various studios in Hollywood that can mock up a dead body that would look exactly like somebody for like not even that much money.
I'm saying he's dead, and
Okay. Like,
and and
yeah,
I
and
and I say
I'm not
they put the
either
picture
way.
on TV. Here's my theory. Here's why they put it on TV, because they needed all the other people that were involved in the payment of the hit to know that he was dead.
I don't think it's about yeah, the people threatened in that are still threatened in that. There's another guy that just went down this week that lost his corporation for how tied he is to Epstein. Like that is definitely an ongoing matter. Um
And it's super hush hush.
just Ghislaine or whatever her fucking name is in
Yes.
court about right now, throwing a million lawsuits trying to like delay her inevitable fucking day with justice by clogging up the system with the same tactics that Trump is famous for using. Is just countersue and like make you bleed out money in court until it's no longer worthy to like worth it to you to fight that battle in court.
Well, the great thing about it is the government has plenty of it. They'll just print more.
Yeah, I keep hearing about this like $1 million coin or $1 billion, $1 trillion coin that they're going to print to cancel the deficit, and that sounds crazy too.
Yeah, that I haven't heard that one. See, look. We may never talk about this comic book because you and I may find
The
we
comic
might
book
get
is
into
really
some
good,
whole other
but
shit here in a minute.
I don't think that. So this is the thing with my Kickstarter right now. 13th Moon Volume 2. We're at like $1,200 out of 4,000 that we were trying to raise, and like a successful Kickstarter project usually is at about 30% by day 3, and we're at about 28% at like day 12. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to make it. Like this is not a successful ride in their algorithms. We're not being featured and promoted by them internally. It's some early markers.
Well,
So
I have to get you to Richard Clark. We have to get you over to Richard Clark.
I don't know who that is, but that's cool.
Now, you should know who Richard Clark is, because if Richard Clark is a good buddy of mine who does comic books. He's been in the industry for a long time. Richard, most recently, his biggest book recently was Golden Bones with the lead singer of Slipknot.
Oh, word.
And he's also, what the heck's her last name's King. She's a horror writer, and I can't think of her first name. I have the book. It's one of those anthologies where it's a whole bunch of different writers, very similar to yours.
Cool.
And he always is supporting Kickstarters, and he's a comic book artist. So I'm going to have to make an introduction on Facebook to you and Richard Clark, and he's a big Kickstarter guy. He'll definitely be the one to look at it and go, people need to read this.
That's awesome. I'd appreciate that. My friend, one of my best friends for the last 10 years, his father was like the financial manager for Slipknot for a while. I don't know if he still does that. Yeah.
While we're even talking, Richard Clark, and then I'm going to add Pheobe Xavier. So now, where are you at right now, Phoebe?
I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, rough place. I like it down there.
I love Florida. People question me and think I'm crazy for that too. But yeah, no, I think Florida is pretty awesome. It's very diverse, and almost nobody in Florida is from Florida. So it's like the melting pot of America. And or just where people from New Jersey and New York come to die. But like, yeah. And I'm from New Jersey, and I love New York, so it's a culture that I can celebrate in that way too.
Well, in Florida, you're like in little New York.
Yeah, I'm a Mets fan. A lot of Mets fans down here.
Well, I'm an O's fan, and we whooped your ass in the World Series in 1980.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Wait, O's who?
Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
word. Cool.
So tell everybody what volume. So let's start with volume 1. Can we still find volume 1?
Yeah, actually, and like maybe I'm like sticking a stick in my own spokes by having this free still online while I'm also offering it as a bonus on the Kickstarter. But volume 1 is available for free on indieplanet.com. That and Trouble Number 1, which I recommended to you a few minutes ago, those are both available for free on indieplanet.com as a digital download, not as a physical copy.
So I just sent Richard a message for you. You're going to have to send him a link to your Kickstarter, and you're going to have to
I
share me a link so I can share it with everybody on our Facebook page and on our Twitter and YouTube, and it'll go up on our Podbean so they can find it. So
It just popped up in my on my messenger. I see it.
perfect. So you'll don't do it now. You got to stay with me now. I know you're excited. I know you're excited. So tell everybody what 13th Moon is about.
It's a horror anthology that centers around Halloween, and we have a narrator, a la the Crypt Keeper, but he's a giant raccoon, an interdimensional raccoon called Mirror the Time Bender, and so he sort of intros each book and outros each book. And but what the stories themselves are a diverse series of horror stories. We only have like maybe one actual Halloween themed story out of all 15 in the first 2 volumes, but it's all horror, and it's all meant to be here for October, which, you know, I thought we were going to hit our goal by Halloween.
Now, how many of the stories did you write?
I only wrote 1 in each volume.
Okay. And which one in there? Because I don't have it in front of me. I read it digitally, folks, so I don't have a hard copy in front of me. But I really enjoyed it. Again, 13th Moon, Volume 2. You can find it on Kickstarter. Look it up that same way. Great cover. Who did the cover?
Both years, the cover was done by my friend Bayron Calderon. He's a friend of mine from Trenton, New Jersey, surrounding region of there. And he came up with Lucy and the Doombringers, which is our cover story from issue 1. Thank you. Yeah. And actually, he had an idea like a few years before. And it was like 3 different like scary horror chicks kind of, and like a punk house that would have like pro-feminist demon women or something. And that he eventually boiled the story down to just being about Lucy interacting with humans. And yeah, it happened during COVID. I lucked out. Bayron was not able to do much for Volume 2 except for the cover, because he works full-time as a tattoo artist. And during COVID, because he wasn't at the tattoo shop, he had enough time to draw those 15 pages. But otherwise, I would have probably not been able to get those full-color 15 pages out of him. That he scripted and wrote it, too. I just came in at the end and changed some of the dialogue. But that was mostly Bayron's story.
I loved it. It's phenomenal. Really was a lot of fun to read, and I love that character, the female demon character,
Lucy. Yeah,
Lucy, and just thought it was a lot of fun. Very pussy. What is it? Josie and the Pussycats with a demon leader kind of going on.
Yeah, with like a hardcore satanic metal band.
Yeah, there you go. Hardcore satanic metal band, but Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes, kind of like that. It works out in the end. The band sticks together.
Now, the Volume 1 was Volume 1 a Kickstarter?
It was, and we succeeded. It was like our goal last year was 2,400, and we made 2,800, nice. Which still just barely like covered things after shipping and shit. But I was very happy about that. That's probably like the height of my underground comic book success to this date is that project.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought, well, first of all, we did 66 pages this year. We did 52 last year. So we were adding 14 pages. That's going to increase my print cost and my shipping cost. So I padded in an extra $1,600 and then didn't hit the numbers I thought I could hit early. So that's why I'm at where I'm at right now. It's still great. And you read Volume 2 too? Did you read Volume 2?
Yes. I read both of them because you sent me both of them.
Sent you, yeah.
You sent me both of them, and I actually had to take a moment and make sure I was reading the right, because I wasn't sure if there was like going to be an order to it or how the process was going to work here. No,
there's not too much of an order to it. It's mostly in different worlds, so like totally different continuities. So yeah, like an anthology. Like when you watch, have you been watching Creepshow at all? The new Creepshow?
I've watched a couple of them. I've watched a few of them. I remember the original one. I watched that.
Oh yeah, the movies. Yeah, but it's like that though. That's like it's just horror to fuck with you. It's not really like you. There's no continuity from one to the next.
So I'll tell you though, and I don't remember which book it was in. The one that I thought was the most. So I love the guy who did the cover artwork, Lucy. I love the artwork in that, and I thought it was a neat story. But my favorite story, and I don't know if you could give one a favor because it's they all are kind of it's your baby. Um, but my favorite was, and it was kind of a unique artwork, and I like unique artworks. Like I have a friend of mine, we call him the Podfather. He's been doing this a long time. He will tell you bad artwork will draw him out of a comic completely. Where for me, a bad story, I don't care how pretty your artwork is. You know, look at the '90s stuff that we read. Some of these amazing splash. Everything was a splash page and bright colors. The stories sucked. The stories were horrible. Just
I
couldn't get into them. But
I was reading Chris Claremont and John Byrne in the '90s, but yeah.
but see, that's different though. So now you're talking X-Men and Superman and stuff like that. That's different. Like that's sort of like saying, you know, you were reading Stephen King compared to a Harlequin romance novel.
Well, knowing which writers you really like and following their shit, yeah.
Yes, completely. But I don't remember who wrote it. You probably know it offhand. The mob one where the guy gets thrown into the
Yeah,
water.
The Bratva one, Inexorable.
Oh, I
That
love
one.
that.
So I can't pronounce the people who wrote that and drew that book's names. They're from Scandinavia, and yeah, they reached. There is a Facebook group that a lot of us underground anthology creators for comic books use. Comic book anthology creators on Facebook, and it's run by my friend Philip Puthorn, who was a part of book one. He wrote the Death Train one or Hell Train story,
Okay.
One Way Ticket. But he runs a group that is a really cool space for people to connect. Like, I need an artist for this, I need a writer for this, blah 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 blah. And that I when I first posted that, hey, I want to do a Halloween anthology, these people from Scandinavia reached out to me with this book, and it was only like 5 pages written at that point, 5 pages drawn, and I was like, no, this is fucking awesome, and like,
I
yeah,
love
let's
the
do that.
story.
Yeah, it's really good. Because it's like at least 2 major twists in it. You're like watching this guy like get executed or whatever, and then the execution gets weird, and then he walks into a whole other reality that you're like, wait, this is a horror story in a different way.
Right. It took me a moment. I had to kind of go back and look at it. And I won't tell everybody what happens here because I want you to go read it. 13th Moon, Volume 1, Volume 2. Go find the Kickstarter for Volume 2. If you send in enough money, Phoebe will personally hand deliver, but you got to send in a lot of money, and Phoebe will personally hand deliver it to you.
I just posted
I'm
an NFT. If you saw last night or this morning, I posted an NFT reward.
what now?
If
So
you,
what's that one?
it's the podcast that I did last night that someone could own as an NFT. The M4A, the .M4A file that that I have of that recording.
So now that's a whole thing. I don't know what the NFT thing just started. Like I saw when it started, and they started doing it with videos, and the first one I saw was the little boy who he's a little English boy, and his brother bites him on the face, and he goes, "Oh, stop, Charlie!" Like
That was
classic,
sold as NFT.
yeah, and it sold for like I'd have dibs if you're watching. Go look that one up. Stop, Charlie.
I know about the one, the big like slam dunk thing that sort of broke it into the mainstream media. Like that, there was a slam dunk from the NBA that was sold for $128,000. That like
Yes.
you can look it up. You can look it up on YouTube and watch it too. But no, this person has a specific MP3 on their computer that's worth $128,000 to them of the same exact thing. Yeah. But and that's in the spirit of how ridiculous that is. I put up a $3,000 reward on my Kickstarter last night. You could have the NFT of the podcast I did last night.
Yeah, I don't understand this NFT thing. Like what? So you own this
Similar to
specific
crypto.
thing, but at the
Yeah.
same time, anybody can go watch it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's more just about like a claim to ownership and a how much money could be generated by excitement about this moment in that moment that stupid people are willing to throw their money away.
Right? Like I don't understand it. Like, oh, this is amazing. You can own tonight's episode of the Above the Bar podcast, which I expect you to want to own this. This is amazing. I'm on here.
Well, you
Pay for
offer
it.
freely on the internet, right? Like,
Right. But
so,
it's
so
out
why
there.
pay for something that's already free? Yes.
Like I don't get it. Like it's definitely one of those ones that I haven't quite figured out because belonging to like the HBO Max, and I had the DC app when it was up. They recently sent me
DCU was awesome. Oh my god, DCU was so good.
wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm watching Stargirl season 2 still, and because they have CW money instead of DCU money, like the special effects are not as good this season.
Yeah, no.
And the story's still good. I love the characters, I love the story, but like it's like that DCU money made the difference on production on a lot of shit. Titan still has the DCU money, you can see that, but
Doom
like
Patrol.
Doom Patrol still has that level of production. Yes, exactly. Doom Patrol is my favorite show.
I love it. You know which one was
Yeah.
the best one on there? By far the best one that was on there and got done dirty was doggone Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing was really, really good. They had a really good arc on it. They didn't even get to finish their last episode or two. I think they cut the season short, and it was because North Carolina fucked them over. Because North Carolina had offered them all sorts of like subsidiary kickback sort of shit. If you come do a movie in our place, you get these tax cuts sort of thing.
Okay.
And when they had shot like half of it, North Carolina backed out of it.
Yep.
And that's actually why Swamp Thing canceled before episode. I think the same week that it launched, episode 1 launched. I think is when they announced it was canceled.
Yep. It's funny that you know that story because I was upset. My wife and I really enjoyed it, and we really liked the direction they were going with it. You were really starting to see the green and the rot and all that, and we were really into it. And I was like, "Oh, this is great." And then we heard it canceled, and I did the same thing. I looked it up. I was like, "Why is this canceled?" And it was purely tax break money.
It was, yeah. No, that's what canceled that show. Yeah. And I think losing that show also is maybe one of the big financial losses that made DCU collapse. Also, COVID hit and DCU collapsed.
All that makes sense to me. It's it was a lot of fun. But if you haven't watched Doom Patrol, that's another one. So now you're, originally from Jersey, so you like, up that way. Jersey.
Yeah. Yes, we eat these and shit. Yeah.
Everybody glows it in the dark at night. It's Jersey. Everybody thinks they're a Goomba. It's Jersey. It's Jersey.
Absolutely.
And just so you know, you just got a friend request from Richard Clark. I just want you to know that.
Thank you, and I will hit you up after this, sir.
Yep. But it's definitely. So, what was now? Did you grow up on the? Because I feel like Jersey, New York City, your major cities had a big underground comic world, and if you've never seen some of these underground comics, they were. I've seen a couple of them over the years. Some of them are good. Most people don't realize Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started as a underground comic. That's probably, I don't know. In my opinion, it's probably the biggest one that I know of is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was an underground comic that kind of came out.
Can I interject there?
Yeah, please.
I've told this story before, but me and my mom were at a comic book store. I don't know exactly where. Actually, probably in Perth Amboy, probably in Perth Amboy in New Jersey, that comic book store that me and my mother and my brother used to go to there, that we were in the store when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 was on the shelf. And I was picking up like G.I. Joe and Transformers comic books or something. And my mom was like, look at this weird shit. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I looked through it and I was like, this is pretty cool, but I want this other shit. And so, like, I could have actually probably had a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, but went for like Transformers #5 or something instead.
And that would have paid for your Kickstarter now.
Exactly. Yes, it precisely would. They would.
Well, and I guess like I've never read the original TMNT stuff, but I guess it was much darker than what we see on TV. A bunch of like teenagers eating pizza and all that. No, they were like slicing people up. They were like straight up ninja action.
They did still eat pizza, but yeah, it was definitely like more graphic violence than they could put in PG-13 movies. And there's a couple of graphic novels that I've read of that old school TMNT shit that is really good, like ninja fucking ninja stories.
I don't know if I want to watch ninjas fucking, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, no. That's that's an adjective or something. But yeah, no, that old school TMNT was actually pretty brutal ninja shit. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't have the comic comedic like Bebop and Rocksteady clownery on the side. Yeah,
it wasn't like, hey guys, let's go eat some pizza and fight somebody. You know, that
well, they did eat pizza. I'm saying that's an element.
It was darker. It was much darker.
Yes, that.
It was Phoebe, it was darker. Go with it. Stay with me here.
It was darker, but they still ate pizza.
It was just dark pizza. It was dark soul pizza. It was pizza for your soul. That's why you're supposed to make 13 moons. It was pizza for your soul.
Hey, that's mathematically every year. There's 13.025 moons in this full moons in a year. So
is that where the name comes from?
Yeah. And that's, I think, a big part of the Mayan calendar too, which is where I might have got hip to that information. But yeah, 13 moons in a year are pretty automatic.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
See, I'm the guy who like, you can educate me on pretty much any of those kind of things. I enjoy it. I find it interesting, but I'm not the one that knows it. So what was your inspiration? So let's get, here you are, young Phoebe, hanging out in the comic book store with mom and the brother.
Oh, yeah.
Picking up a little Transformers, G.I. Joe, all the classics here. What was like, now that's very different than horror here. So what was the inspiration behind, like, as you were growing up? Was this a more recent thing, or have you always been doing? I know you have the other book out, but how does this come along? Well, art, comics, everything. Tell me about it.
Okay. As far as my introduction to comic books, so my mother taught me to read pretty early. She was reading to me from when I was in the womb, and I could read by about like 2.5. I was reading my own Dr. Seuss books, and I read it back to her one day, like, hey, Mom, look, I can read. And I read like Green Eggs and Ham Tour or something. And she was like, nah, you just memorize that because I read it to you every night. I was like, no, fuck you. I was like indignant. Like, I know how to read. Like, give me something to read. And she like gave me a newspaper, and I took a few seconds to sound it out. But like, I read the headline of the newspaper back to her, and she was like, you're the fucking devil. but she knew she had done good, and like, taught me like her own passion in reading. And so after I was bored with Dr. Seuss and shit, I had comic books by like age 4 or 5 that she gave me her old comic books, which was like mostly old Superman, Supergirl, and Tangent, like Jimmy Olsen and Lana Lane, and everybody had their own book back in the fucking 50s and 60s. Yeah. But like also Witching Hour and Tales from the Crypt was a book actually back then too. Yeah. And so books like that were like shit that I was reading. Like by the time I was 5 years old, I was reading shit like that, and influenced me. And I don't, to be a creator, and I didn't start writing comic books like I do now until like the last half decade, last 6-7 years or something. But I was telling stories from at least that young. From like, I was inspired to be and having younger siblings, I think, is what forced me into that position. That long car rides when me, my brother, and my sister would be driving an hour and a half across New Jersey or Pennsylvania, that they were bored and we knew not to bother mom and dad. And so some way to occupy our attention would be me coming up with some crazy story. And I had enough reference material. I was inspired enough already by how much I had been reading that I could start as a storyteller that early.
That's awesome. So now, when you were younger, like were there still these? Where is it still horror tales, or what?
No,
What was
I was
it?
more. I think it was more way. I was way more upbeat then. It was definitely more just about adventure. Like, and then this problem happens, but we can still solve it. And then this problem happens, but we can still solve it. Like, just keeping it exciting, I think, was probably my theme that early in storytelling. But yeah, horror is definitely something that like some of my stories that I've written are actually shit that like I had like got physically ill over writing it because I came up with a good idea and then like putting it down to paper like it was like, oh, I got to go into these graphic details that I'm not comfortable with. But to make this a good story, you know, you got to work through this and tell this thing.
Uh,
Like it's
like what?
it's
I see. I'm curious now. What did you write that got you physically ill?
I read a story, and it's going to come out in my short story collection, Subliminal Latency, that should be out by early next year. And it is the story I'm referencing is called Chase underscore rape underscore kill dot FDV. And it's
Got
about
what?
FDV.
What is that?
It's a file format.
Okay.
And it's from like MP3 or whatever. But yeah,
Okay.
and it's about a recording made by in a memory slide, I think they're called, and they're in the back of your neck in the future, and it records what you're seeing and experiencing. And so I retell the tale of a woman getting chased and raped and killed in New York in like the year 2114 or something, and like I like took on the perspective of being that woman and wrote that. And so yeah, it was definitely not a comfortable thing overall to do or try to do as art. But the end result I'm pretty happy with. And yeah, there's definitely other parts of my fiction that I thought up and I was like, that's fucked up. And I was like, that would be horrible.
Do you
And
ever
then,
pause yourself and you're like, where is this coming from in my head?
well, no, reality, like the world around us. That's like, I mean, it's definitely not like, I'm not worried about the evils of the universe being seated within me because like the world I see around me inspires these crazy things. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, you are
Um,
in Florida, and we all know Florida, man.
and I started in New Jersey. So,
Look, and well, I mean, you'll appreciate that we hang it. I've had on the show Lloyd Kaufman. Do you know Lloyd Kaufman?
is that like a musical composer for movies or something?
Nope, that's one of the two owners of Troma Films, Toxic Avenger.
Oh shit! Oh yeah. Toxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger. My bad. They
I
put
love it.
out Trey. They put out Trey and Matt's cannibal movie when no one else
Yep.
would put it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh shit. Yeah. Uh, so yeah,
Hey, I've been the whole time.
yeah. It. I've spoke to him. I talked to him a couple weeks ago. But yeah, great. You know that I always think a lot of the underground horror always gives me that similar vibe. It's almost like they found a way to turn underground horror into a movie.
Well, here, like I said, me and my friend, a friend of mine from Florida, are working on an American Horror Story pitch, and it's basically about Florida stories. And I threw a couple of ideas across his in the messenger. And he was like, "Yeah, that's fucked up. That's seriously fucked up." And I was like, "Yeah, that's like how you write horror. You come up with ideas that you are uncomfortable with, and you're like, yeah, I'm still gonna write about this." Like I'm still gonna make this into a scene that I make other people watch too.
Yeah, this is the shit that's in my head. Now you get to have it too.
Yeah. Share this. It's bad for all of us.
We can all be miserable together. Here, wow.
Yeah, no, there's definitely camaraderie in like facing the horrors of life. Yeah,
Well, you know,
I'm exaggerating a little bit about how. Yeah, I don't want anyone to be affected negatively by my horror, but I do still have to get it out when it's an idea that I came up with.
well, you don't want it stuck in your head for too long. You know, you
Yeah,
gotta.
then I'll serve it and I'll have heads in my freezer.
That's it. You know, and that would be good for me. I'm gonna be honest with you, Phoebe. If all of a sudden after this show you're arrested for heads in your freezer, I'm
That'd be
gonna tell
really
you.
good. You would make a lot. You get a lot of hits on this podcast.
People are going to be like, tonight on 11, Phoebe Xavier found an apartment with 14 heads inside of her freezer. No one quite knows. She admitted it to it on the Above the Bar podcast. You can go now and listen to it. Like, that would be most amazing thing for me. Like, would you do that for me? Phoebe? Go get 14 heads and please don't do that, because then somebody will be like, I'll get in trouble then.
The next minutes. No, I can't. There's no way.
Please don't, because you know what'll happen is I'll get in trouble and they'll be like, you made her go do this. And I'll be like,
you'd have to give me more time than by the time this podcast ends. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't go out. It doesn't go out till tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I mean, come on.
All right. Well, I only have like 2 or 3 heads in the freezer so far, so let's see.
Fair enough. I mean, 2 or 3. What did Dahmer have? I mean, I don't think Dahmer had that many in the freezer.
I don't know. I don't know the specifics on shit like that. I know some people are obsessive about serial killer factoids, but no, serial killers were never something that really appealed to me.
Now, that's a great question. So you kind of bring that up. I would think that if this is the genre that you're going into, was any of the real life stuff like ever interest you, or was it more the movie Hollywood side to it?
So this is the thing with horror. I didn't like when I was a little kid. I didn't watch the Freddy Krueger stuff. I didn't watch the Jason stuff. That shit scared me. The Wicked Witch of the West scared me when my family would watch that shit in the early 80s. Like, yeah. So there was a time when me and a bunch of people were at a sleepover in the late 80s, early 90s, I think it's got to be late 80s, that American Ninja came on, and the violence in American Ninja was enough for me to leave the room. Like, I was definitely not interested in gore and violence growing up. And horror, I think my induction into horror is more from the fantasy side, that I like the ideas of magic. And so when it comes into like spiritual spells and shit, that's when horror is more interesting to me. I do watch shit like I watch Ash versus Evil Dead. I used to watch that when it was on.
Great show. That was a great show.
But it's like really campy. Like it's really campy when like a head gets cut off and like it's like fountains and fountains of blood. You're like, that's not realistic. It's hilarious. Like so.
It's like a gore concert.
Yeah, I can enjoy it more when it's in that sort of context, but shit like Saw and other like horror, the way horror is taken a certain step in a direction. What is it? The one where they kill each other once a year, The Purge. Shit like that does not appeal to me. I'm not very interested in movies like that.
No, I get it. So like you would enjoy Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, that's my childhood. Yeah,
right, because that was funny. Or Attack of the Tomatoes.
Yeah,
you know, those were campy, kitschy. Nobody was buying it. But then you watch something like a Saw or what's the other ones where they're, I can't think of the damn name of it. Where they're
is one of them that is kind of ridiculous.
With the doll. What's the one with the doll?
Wait, Chucky or what?
No, not Chucky, because Chucky's funny too, because
it can't be. Yeah.
No, it's like this doll, and it's actually based on a real doll that was associated with this whole thing. Like do you ever watch any of the horror shows like God, I can't even think of the name of them, but like the actual horror TV, like the Ghost Hunters. You ever watch Ghost Hunters?
Oh, no. I have sporadically watched some of them occasionally, probably when other people had particular interest in, like, hey, let's throw this on. But no, I watch Ancient Aliens a lot more than I watch Ghost Hunters.
Is it just because you like the dude's hair?
No, I love that they like bring all this real archaeological fucking evidence in and then go off the rails with it. They're like, so because this shit really happened, we carbon dated this to like 1400 BC aliens. I like to watch that hard fucking stretch to the left where they're like, we have real good science and then aliens.
So if you like that kind of stuff though, because it's my show, so I can plug my own shit. On November 20th, we're gonna have the guys from Unearthed. What's it? Unearthing the Supernatural. You got that?
Is that a TV show?
Is it 420 already?
Yeah, right now it is.
Yeah, it's called Unearthing the Supernatural, and it's on. I don't know if you know who Patty Negri is, but she's on. She's a famous. I've interviewed her before. She's phenomenal. She's such a good person, but she has her own network now. And they do like all kinds of these different groups, but these Unearthing the Supernatural, these guys are the first ever all Native American ghost hunter team. They use rituals from their own culture to try to unearth things. They were on that Demi Lovato show where she was going and searching out supernatural meth and heroin and whatever it was.
That's not supernatural.
That's a whole nother supernatural experience. No,
Drugs.
I'm kidding. Please know what the 4 people that are going to listen to this, please don't go tell Demi that I said that. It was a joke. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I apologize for smoking pot on the air. I don't know.
I don't care. I'm
It's
drinking.
technically, I think, in Florida. Oh, this is Delta 8. Never mind. I'm smoking Delta 8.
So, well, you're in Florida and I'm in New York, and it's legal in both, so you're good.
It's not legal recreationally. Oh, Delta 8 is, yeah.
What the hell is Delta 8?
Are you serious? You don't know about Delta 8?
No.
So it is. So you know what? Like, when they used to sell like K2, the phony synthetic weed or whatever,
Right.
at shops. Well, okay. So apparently, the definition of how weed is illegal or which weed is illegal comes down to a certain specific, like, a certain specific form of cannabis that has Delta 9 molecule in it, which is like about how many carbon molecules are attached to the THC or something. So there's also Delta 8, which is just a slightly different cannabinoid that isn't as bad as K2. It doesn't like fucking fuck you up the way that shit
You're not going to eat
was.
somebody's face off?
Yeah, no, that shit was like crack. It gets you high for 10 minutes and it ruins your cannabinoid receptors in your brain. But Delta 8 is like basically just a slightly less psychoactive, but it still has painkiller effects and like body relaxant effects, and it's legal in most states. Like if you go into a place where like you could buy bowls and a bunch of tobacco and pipes or whatever, they're gonna have Delta 8 and it's gonna be a legal form of a cannabis.
But does it have THC in it?
Yeah, it is THC. It's THC with a different carbon molecule or whatever. The Delta 8 instead of Delta 9.
So
I could be saying this slightly incorrectly as far as the specific scientific molecular.
I'm just wondering if you would pop on a drug test for it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I probably would. I don't know, but it's changing the whole game in that there is a legal form of it that you could still be like, hey, this is what it was. Here, I'm showing you this is that I possess it and bought it these many times. Like I use Delta 8, not regular pot. That, yeah, it's a real alternative in a lot of states. Wow. I don't know if you, yeah. Oh, but New York, you guys are completely recreationally legal? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. New York is, there's no there's no dispensaries. I guess they don't call them head shops anymore. There's no dispensaries. We're showing our age for a minute there, Phoebe. We want to call it a head shop.
Yeah. I'm 45. Yeah.
So am I. Same age.
Yeah.
The bicentennial babies. But yeah, so what month?
I'm lying. I'm 44 and I was born on May 11, 1977. But yeah.
Oh, I'm 77.
You're like, calm me out. I got to tell you the truth.
So, but yeah, I was just, they said, I think it's next year they'll actually open like straight up dispensaries, head shops. Go buy your shit. You're good. It's coming. Like that's one of those ones that I can do it. I had a guy on, real good dude, can do a whole thing about that. About if you ever get a chance to look in like the history of why we made marijuana illegal in the United States,
Yeah, after the prohibition. Yeah, it was mostly we had to have some other reactive suppression for like the religious people to be happy about it, and also just shutting down where the hemp industry was going in general.
And that was the bigger thing was Howard Hughes owned all the paper mills, and the hemp paper was starting to blow up, and he didn't own that and couldn't own that. So he was a major pusher for legislation to make marijuana illegal. And then some of the other laws were back. It was actually purely to chase off immigrants into the United States from Mexico. They would put out that they were using marijuana and they were going to attack our women, and they became violent on it. So that was another big push. And then you push your way to Nixon and the war on drugs. And that was again to suppress inner cities and what was going on there, because all of it was focused on them.
Like why you were saying that, the introduction to Sublime Smoke Two Joints is playing in my head. Reefer, they're all reefers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, when you brought up Nixon, did you watch the new American Horror Story where it's with the aliens? Because Richard Nixon is a part of that.
I stopped watching American Horror Story. I watched the first one. I love the first one. It's brilliant.
Murder House, yeah.
I started watching the second one. Is this because the second one pissed me off, because that's the one with it starts off with the lead singer of Maroon 5.
Really? Oh.
I'm almost sure that's the second one. Somebody will correct me.
It's the hospital one. I don't know if he opens the season.
Yep. So that was the whole thing. So they open the season and the hospital's all closed down, and whatever the heck his name is, I can't think of his name. He's in there, and he's chasing after some girl, and he's a young guy, blah blah blah. And whatever the creature was in the bottom of the hospital eats him or kills him or whatever. But they advertised it the entire time that he was in this. He's in this.
Like for the whole season. Yeah.
Right. But it was very similar to like Drew Barrymore in Scream.
She was in it for like 5 minutes. Yeah. She was pretty good though. I like Drew.
I love Drew Barrymore, but she's in it for the first 5 minutes and then she's killed off and you never see her again.
So putting her name on the poster is ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
Advertising him that he's in this made no sense.
Yeah.
So I watched part of that one. My only issue I've ever had with most of those is they get too long. Like
some of the series have a weird shorter episode counts recently, but no, I understand. I hear that.
I have met what the heck is her name? She's in all the seasons. I
don't think anyone is actually in all the.
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson is awesome. Yeah.
So I've met Sarah Paulson. Job I used to have. I was in transportation. She got on in my transportation at the time, and I don't think about shit that I say. I'm not good at it. So she was standing there. We're in Hudson, New York. Wonderful person, sweetheart of a person. And I'm like, "Do you want me to put your bag on?" She goes, "Oh, that is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me." And I looked at her. I said, "You should hang out with better people." And I didn't think about it as I was saying. I'm like, that was kind of a dick thing to say.
No, that's the truth.
But like, if somebody putting your bag up is the nicest thing they've ever done for you, there's a problem. There's a problem.
Yeah, like, and well, that artificial level of polite is like also not necessarily helpful for society. Like, she doesn't have to exaggerate that. Like, that is the nicest thing ever. You're just being, seeing that she needed a little bit of assistance and being a stand-up individual and being like, yeah, I'm also on Earth with you. Yeah. Shit sucks sometimes. Here, let me help you.
Right.
Like,
welcome to the planet with me. We'll hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've met a bunch of celebrities in that job.
Yeah. I met a bunch of celebrities in the weirdest of ways.
Where?
Do you know what is the stand-up guy that talks about the Hot Pockets that he used to have a big thing? He's brilliant. Yeah, no, I'll email. I'll follow up on you. I don't want to waste time on it. But I met Adam Sandler at a Starbucks in California. That I got to tell him one of my jokes. I got
Hold on. What's it like to tell Adam Sandler a joke? Did you like? Was it one of these things where he was like, "Oh well, I really enjoyed that," or did you get done with it and you were like, "I just did that."
I
I
mean,
just thought,
he gave me dap. No, he definitely gave me dap. The fucking bump
what was
nuts
the
on
joke?
it, but like,
What was the joke?
oh, so I've been staying with a friend recently who's in an apartment complex, and there's just like a single door to get into the whole thing. And was when I was coming back the other day, there was a little crowd of people all gathered, worried and frantic in front of the door. And I was like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And then I saw there was a squirrel crawling up the grate, and I was like, "Hey, calm down. That squirrel lives there. He just forgot his keys." Um, but in any case, the yeah, that he reacted positively to it, gave me a knuckle bump, and I had actually waited for the rest of the Starbucks to already like geek out over it and him get his coffee before I approached him. That I was like, yeah, everybody here just like had an epileptic seizure over Adam Sandler being within 50 feet of them. And so it's like I was working on my computer and then decided, all right, he's calmed down enough, like chilled down off the initial what he must go through everywhere. Like anytime he wants to go in public, like, holy shit, you're fucking Adam fucking Sandler. That he was back into his comfort zone of I think I'm just sipping my coffee, that I came up and was like, hey, could I please tell you this joke? Like, so yeah, no, that was really cool. And I met other super famous people in other situations. I met Be Real from Cypress Hill, signed my blunts in like 1997 at
Oh, that's
Spoken
all.
Group. Yeah. I mean, and
That's
that's like a
cool.
waiting in line for an hour and a half for him to do that. But like, yeah, like I've gone out of my way sometimes to stick my face in famous people's business because I was always trying to create and do things myself.
Well, that's the only way anyone will ever find you. I firmly believe that. I do that with my podcast. I just walk up to people and I go, I'm like, oh yeah. If we get into a conversation, yeah, this is what I do. Oh, I've never pull your phone out. I'll put it on your phone right now. Pull your phone out. Put it on there right now. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, yep. We'll put it on your phone right at this second, and then you can listen to it. It's worked for me for a while. You're gonna have to start doing that, Phoebe. You're gonna have to start taking their phones and be like, let me show you my Kickstarter.
All
And then
right.
start putting money on their phone.
All right,
So
I will try. Well, I mean, if I could access their account while I'm holding their phone, like while stealing their phone.
Oh, and I forgot to mention earlier, as you all like my necklace, this is a macaroni necklace made by my 4-year-old son that I've been sporting the entire time. My wife just sent me a message. Said, look like you're wearing a gold necklace. Nope, I'm wearing macaroni.
Strictly for my Cuban links. Yeah, strictly for my Cuban links.
Do it for the Cuban links. Do it for the macaroni.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
So, Miss Phoebe, let's do this again. So we can find you Facebook, YouTube. You don't use your Instagram enough. Got to start using your Instagram. Twitter. We can find you at either Phoebe, Phoebe.
Pheoebe. Pheobe.
One of them is Phoebe. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Or at 123 Go Publications. The Kickstarter is under. Let me even pull my phone up here. While we are here, while we were doing it, as we get ready to put a bow on this, because I told you I'm into Kickstarter, Phoebe. I actually have the app on my phone and keep it on there. Look at that. Can you see it? There's my Kickstarter app.
Kickstarter as an app? I did not know there was an app.
Yep. Oh, yeah, Phoebe. So let's type this in. 13th moon.
Yeah.
All right, there it is. 28%. The first one made 115%. And now the same person you said that did the first cover did this cover?
Bayron, yeah. He's a beast.
We're gonna back this project while we're here. Look, we're backing this project. We're gonna get 13th moon. 13th, folks. Stop being cheap. Stop being cheap. $13 for a physical copy. That's it. Don't be cheap, folks.
Plus shipping. Yes, thank you.
And then $25 for a digital. What's in the digital package?
The general package is pretty huge. It basically is every book that we've ever put out and a few other books by co-creators that I work with on other anthologies.
I mean, that's a lot of, like, I'm looking at this right now. For $25, you got the volume 6 of the Apogee, Gunmetal Black Ops 1 and 2, Malik Reigning Devil 1 and 2, Trouble number 1, Santa Claus number 1, 13th Moon 1, 13th Moon 2, Modern Mythology, The Hero's Journey Design, Indie Jump number 000, Fangs and Foul Play 0. It also contains the following short stories: Our Worst Voodoo Doll by somebody named Phoebe Xavier and by
and I didn't have a title to put in for Chris McCauley, but we do have a Chris McCauley story coming as well.
And a Chris McCauley. For
a story by Chris McCauley.
I mean, I'm just looking through these. You can get the pins for $55. 60 gets you. Oh, but I mean, Phoebe, these are, and there it is, all the way free. You can get the NFT for $3,000. If you spend $3,000 and you drop $3,000 on Phoebe's show, I promise you, whatever she gives you, you can come to my house. I will make you 321 ribs, which are my famous ribs, and you can sit down and you can run the Above the Bar podcast for a Wednesday. I don't care what you do, who you talk to. It'll be your show for a day if you drop $3,000. That'll be my contribution.
I can put that in as an extra like bonus to people on that tier, is what you're offering.
Yeah. If you get somebody to drop you $3,000, you tell them you can put on there, you can have, I will make you 321 smoked ribs at my home in New York, and you can run the Above the Bar podcast for a day.
All right, I'll get that in there. I'm a little drunk tonight, but I will email you about this. Like, yo, did you see this silly shit last night? I will email you about that tomorrow.
Email me about that tomorrow. I've already hooked you up, so we got to get ready to put a bow on this thing. So I want a physical copy there, Phoebe. I'm doing it right now. Here we go. We're gonna add this, my physical copy. Continue with one add-on. We're gonna pay for this now.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting the project. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
I like doing podcasts. I'm not super stuck on my egotistical side, but my expressive side has a lot to fucking say.
Woo-woo. So, again, tell everybody where they can find you at.
You should go to indieplanet.com/123go for a bunch of our books, but you should also go on Kickstarter and look up 13th Moon Volume 2. And we have like 17 days left on that project, I think. And we're trying to make about $2,900.
Well, $13 less right now.
Thank you.
So, all right, Phoebe. Now, don't log off after this. We got to talk for a moment.
All right, put it on pause because I'm going to go to the bathroom. Can we do it like that?
All right. Well, you get the final word. Go ahead and give everybody the final word.
Thank you for having me. Love you guys. Read some of my shit, please. And look up other stuff that my team works on. Yeah, that's it. 1, 2, 3, go.
All righty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.